I'd like to start by introducing myself. I am Anamari Mahilom, and together with me are my co-researchers, Mr. Geoffrey Imran Araneta, Ms. Jaya Bahinting, Michelle Luz Fabores, Ms. Barbeline Elaine Harabe, and Ms. Jamalika Salvador. Our research title is Assessing Tourist Perception and Satisfaction Towards Culinary Experience in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental. Chapter 1, Background of the Study. What is food tourism? As a starting point from a definition perspective of World Food Travel Association 2019, food tourism offers tourists new tastes, flavors, textures, cultures, heritage, local culinary cultures, customs, and authentic food and beverage experiences. AN 2016 stated that food tourism has been identified as a nation's vital potential in the future, especially in improving the country's economy. In Asia, food tourism is an emerging and rapidly growing tourism segment. It is a representation of how society is changing, a balance between the past and the progress. In regional perspective, the Philippine National Tourism Development Plan believes that Filipino cuisine is identified as a key tourism product. However, many culinary experts deem that Filipino cuisine still lacks the kind of identity and branding needed for it to be sought by travelers, according to Gutierrez and others 2022. According to Go 2019, Department of Tourism of the Philippines sees the potential of Filipino cuisines as a means of boosting the country's tourism industry. In local perspective, San Carlos City launched a food mapping activity to document traditional food signatures, equipment, and methods in local cuisine. Aside from its viable tourist spots, the city's food tourism is also what makes it appealing, adding that food tourism plays a big part in growing local industries and increasing the income of local communities. Statement of the problem. The study aims to assess the tourist perception and satisfaction towards culinary experiences in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental. First is to determine the factors influencing the culinary experience of the tourists in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental, in terms of accessibility, food experiences, and promotions, as assessed by the local tourist, city tourism office, and owners or people involved in food tourism. Second, to determine the level of satisfaction of tourists towards the food tourism in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental on food quality, place, and services when grouped according to age, sex, income, and civil status as assessed by the local tourist, city tourism office, and owners or people involved in food tourism. Third is to identify the perceived demand of tourists on the local food in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental, in terms of authenticity and sustainability as assessed by the local tourist, city tourism office, and owners or people involved in food tourism. And now I will now give the floor to Ms. Jaya Bahinting for the significance and scope of the study.
Significance of the study. City Tourism Office, the owners or people involved in food tourism, the local community, and the future researcher. Scope of the study. The study emphasizes on assessing tourist perceptions and satisfaction with the culinary experiences in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental, and determine the factors influencing the culinary experience of the tourists in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental, in terms of accessibility, food experiences, and promotion. Also to determine the level of satisfaction tourists towards food tourism in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental. Food quality, services, age, sex, income, and civil status. Likewise, to identify the perceived demand of tourists on the local food in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental in terms of authenticity and sustainability in the year 2023 onwards. The owners or peoples involved in food tourism. Local tourists and San Carlos City tourism officers were the respondents who answered the researcher-made checklist questions in order to collect the information required for this study. At this moment, I will now give the floor to Ms. Favores for the definition of terms.
Definition of terms. The following terminology is operationally defined for a clear understanding of the study. Food tourism means visiting San Carlos City with the primary purpose of experiencing its culinary offerings and local food culture. It provides an immersive and enriching experience that showcases the city's distinctive food identity. Tourist perception refers to how visitors in San Carlos City interpret and evaluate the unique culinary experiences they encounter in the city. Factors influencing the culinary experiences of the tourists in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental pertain to how culinary experiences of tourists impact the overall perception of San Carlos City, Negros Occidental, contributing to its overall appeal as a tourism destination. Accessibility relates to how conveniently tourists may access different local food in San Carlos City. Food experiences refers to assessing the variety, quality, affordability of local food offerings and thoughts expressed by the tourist during or after the eating process. Promotion pertains to San Carlos City's tourism marketing efforts, including its advertising, online presence, and tourist information centers. Level of satisfaction of tourists towards the food tourism in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental means determining the tourist satisfaction level pertaining to food tourism in San Carlos City in terms of food quality, place, and services. Food quality is defined as the taste, presentation, freshness, ingredient quality, and overall appeal of the local food offered in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental. Place relates to the ambience, cleanliness, comfort, and overall atmosphere of the local food in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental. Services pertains to evaluating the quality of customer service provided by the staff and owner or people involved in food tourism in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental, and how will they cater to the needs and preferences of the tourist. Perceived demand of tourists on the local food in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental refers to identifying the perceived demand of tourists and understanding what tourists are looking for when it comes to dining experiences in local food in San Carlos City. Authenticity relates to the use of ingredients available in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental, traditional recipes, and authentic experience among the local food in San Carlos City. Sustainability means how tourists view the local food in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental as environmentally responsible and socially conscious in their practices. At this moment, may I call on Ms. Jamilica Salvador to present the review of related literature and studies.
Chapter 2, Review of Related Literature. Overview of food tourism. Some of the studies that are related to food tourism, just like the studies of Banerjee and others in 2015, Dai and Sharma in 2014, Kem and Ellis in 2015, Lee and others in 2015, as well as in World Food Travel Association in 2019, Holtzko in 2016, Panja and Badge in 2015, Ellis and others in 2018, Stone and others in 2017, United Nations World Tourism Organization in 2019, and Leslie William and others in 2018. And for the factors influencing the culinary experience of the tourist, stated in the studies of Alderi and others in 2016, Hendigene in 2016, as well as Barnes and others in 2014. And for the level of satisfaction of tourists towards the food tourism, stated in the studies of G and others in 2013, Sukiman and others in 2013, Hendigene in 2016. And lastly, the perceived demand of tourists in the local food, stated in the studies by Anton and others in 2019, Hiyotoglo in 2020, as well as Juan in 2013, Shaw and others in 2017. And now my call on Mr. Araneta to elaborate to you the theoretical framework.
Theoretical framework. The theoretical assumption as anchored on the theory expectation disconfirmation theory or EDT. This theory allows researchers to explore deeper into the factors that influence tourists' perceptions and the extent to which their culinary expectations are met or exceed. Wang Zhu et al. 2020. Another theory on which this study is primarily based is the culinary tourism framework by Gutierrez, Rivera, and Rojas 2022. This focuses on the idea that food is a significant motivator for travelers and examines the factors that influence tourists' decisions to engage in culinary experiences. Lastly, these theories are appropriate to the study since they offer a useful guide through which to evaluate how satisfied tourists are with their experiences eating local food in San Carlos City. May I call on Ms. Arabe to discuss the conceptual model.
Conceptual model assessing tourist perceptions and satisfaction toward the culinary experience in Jakarta City, Negros Occidental will be evaluated using the model shown in Figure 1. The tourism key players in Jakarta City are local tourists, city tourism office, and owners involved in tourism. This study determines the effects of culinary experience of the tourist towards the overall experience of San Carlos City, Negros Occidental as a tourism destination in terms of accessibility, food experience, and promotion. In addition, it determines the levels of satisfaction of tourists toward the food tourism in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental, in terms of food quality, place, and survey. Lastly, they identify the preserved demands of tourists among the local food in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental in terms of authenticity and sustainability. At this moment, may I call on Ms. Jumelica Salvador to present the methodology.
Chapter 3 Methodology. In research design, we use quantitative descriptive research approach. When we say quantitative descriptive design, it means a research method that aims to describe and characterize a phenomenon or event and its characteristics. Respondents. For the players in tourism in San Carlos City, using quota sampling. Respondents consist of 11 San Carlos City oh, Respondents consist of 8 local food owners or people involved in food tourism, 11 San Carlos City tourism officer, and 300 local tourists in San Carlos City, a total of 319 respondents. This is the table 1. It shows the distribution of respondents with its frequency and percentage. At this moment, may I call on Ms. Favores to discuss to you the instrument and data gathering procedure.
The research instrument. The researcher prepared a researcher-made checklist questionnaire that went through a test of reliability and a test of validity. The questionnaire was validated by 5 experts on tourism using Good and Skate in 1972. The validated questionnaire came with a result of 4.67, interpreted as a very high valid instrument. The reliability test was carried out using Cronbach's alpha method on 30 tourism K players who were the study's actual respondents. The obtained alpha score is 0.81, which is interpreted as a good research instrument. The first part of the instrument determined the respondent's profile. The second part of the questionnaire is designed to determine the effects of the culinary experience of the tourist towards the overall experience of San Carlos City, Negros Occidental as a tourism destination in terms of accessibility, food experiences, and promotion. The third part of the questionnaires includes questions to determine the level of satisfaction of tourists towards the food tourism in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental in terms of food quality, place, and services. The last part of the questionnaire consists of questions in order to identify the perceived demand of tourists among the local food in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental in terms of authenticity and sustainability. Data gathering procedure. The researchers obtained permission from the local government unit of San Carlos City, most especially from the city mayor, by writing a letter to allow them to gather data from the city tourism office. The researchers requested permission from the dean of the school to conduct a study on the identified respondents. Written consent was sent to the city tourism office and other identified respondents to inform them of the objectives and participation in the research. With the validation of the research questionnaire and the approval of the local government unit of San Carlos City and the identified respondents, the researcher gathers data from the city tourism office. Local tourists and owners or people involved in food tourism within San Carlos City by distributing the survey questionnaires. Afterwards, all the data that had been gathered was tabulated and interpreted using the appropriate statistical tools. Data analysis. This study used descriptive analysis through frequency and percentage distribution. At this moment, may I call on Mr. Araneta to present the ethical consideration and research-informed consent form.
Excuse me. Ethical considerations. The respondent received a detailed explanation and important information about the purpose of the study. By giving informed consent, respondents voluntarily decide to participate in the study that were not subjected to harm in any way. Data was handled with appropriate level of confidentiality, and the names and identities of the research participants will not be disclosed in accordance with Republic Act 10-173, also known as the Data Privacy Act of 2012. The respondents were guaranteed that the details they shared would remain confidential, and all communication regarding this action research were conducted with honesty and transparency. The respondents are informed about the duration for which data will be kept, its storage location, and the method of disposal. Next slide, please. Here is the research informed consent form. For a clearer version of it, you can refer the manuscript is 57 to 58. May call on Ms. Mahilong.
Chapter 4, Results and Discussion. The factors influencing the culinary experience of the tourists in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental, in terms of accessibility, food experiences, and promotions, as assessed by the local tourist, city tourism office, and owners or people involved in food tourism. Tourist destinations are attaching ever greater importance to food given its ability to attract visitors, enhance travel experiences, and achieve differential positioning as culinary destination. According to Chai and Wang 2017, food has been a key attraction for travelers, and many destinations have tried to offer special culinary experiences to tourists. In addition, culinary experience is one of the key factors in choosing a tourism destination and contributes to tourist overall satisfaction, according to Kristen T. and others 2019. Coldan and Simon identified five culinary preference factors, including social influence, culture and religion, exploration, the culinary experience, and environmental sensitivity. Table 2A Accessibility. The Table 2A shows that the majority of the respondents agree that San Carlos City has accessible food establishment. Furthermore, the majority of the respondents answered that tourists can easily access the local food given with a frequency number of 305 out of 319, which is equivalent to a 95.6% response rate, while the least number of responses specifically mentioned is that the area have an internet connection which has a frequency of 256 out of 319, which is equivalent to 80.2% response rate. Food Table 2B. Food experiences. In terms of food experiences, based on the findings, the city has offered quality and locally produced products that can help to build stronger communities by connecting people with the food they ate. Provided that the majority of the respondents agreed with the questions, does the city offer affordable local food options, get the most answers with a total frequency of 291 out of 319 responses, equivalent to a 91.2% response rate, while do the culinary offerings of the city stand out, got the fewest responses, which have a frequency of 245 out of 319 responses, equivalent to a 76.8% response rate. Table 2C Promotion. Based on the Table 2C, the city has plenty of activities exploring the variety of culinary offerings that would assess in promoting food tourism in the city. Also provides strong evidence supporting the role of food festivals and special food events in promoting local foods, stimulating the local economy, and enhancing the overall tourism experience. According to the respondents' feedback, the most agreed question is, does the city organize special food events like food mapping and food festivals? With a frequency of 290 out of 319 responses, which is equivalent to a 90.9% response rate, while the least number of responses is, does the city tourism make efforts to promote and market locally produced products, with a frequency of 245 out of 319 responses, which is equivalent to a 76.8% response rate. May I call on Ms. Jaya Bahinting to elaborate the findings of the second statement of the problem?
The second statement of the problem. The level of satisfaction of tourists towards the food tourism in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental, on food quality, place, and services when grouped according to age, sex, income, and civil status as assessed by the local tourist, city tourism office, and owners or peoples involved in food tourism. According to Raman and others, 2018, the satisfaction of tourists towards food tourism is a multifaceted concept influenced by the various factors. Tourist satisfaction and perception have a positive and significant impact on the intention of purchasing local food. Similarly, Ola and others 2022 highlighted that upon satisfaction with the local foods, tourists intensify their motivation towards a specific destination. Furthermore, Cordova, Brusa, and others 2021 emphasized that culinary pleasure is a decisive factor in choosing a travel destination and is essential for shaping tourist satisfaction regarding their travel experience. These findings collectively underscore the importance of the food satisfaction influencing tourist overall experience and destination choices. Table 3A food quality contains information from the highest to the lowest response. The presentation of the city's local food got the most significant response with a total of 168 or 52.7%, while the freshness of the ingredients used in the city's local food got the lowest significant response with a total of 155 or 48.6%. Table 3A place indicated that San Carlos City meet the standard when it comes to cleanliness and hygiene and sanitation. Maintaining cleanliness in food establishments is essential for ensuring customer satisfaction, food safety, and the overall quality of service. The most obvious response is the cleanliness of the place, according to the comments made by the respondents with a frequency of 176, which is equivalent to 55.2%, while the hygiene and sanitation of the place is the least notable response with a frequency of 149, which is equivalent to 46.7%. Based on the Table 3C services, it shows that San Carlos City values the importance of services and being connected with the people. The standardization of services is a crucial aspect of ensuring quality and consistency. These attributes are essential for fostering positive customer experiences and long-term relationships in the hospitality and food service sectors. The majority of the satisfied respondents answered about the friendliness and helpfulness of the staff or food providers with a total of 180 or 56.4%, with a least number of satisfied respondents answered the speed of service with a total of 151 or 47.3%. My call on Ms. Favores to present the respondent's profile in terms of age, income, and civil status.
Table 3D presents the profile of the respondents in terms of their age. There are 319 respondents, 228 who are in the age range of 18 to 29 years, and just 52 within 30 to 40 years. Moreover, only 19 from 50 to 59 years, and 20 whose age 60 years and above. The data proves that majority of the respondents are in the age range of 18 to 29 years. Table 3E shows that 182 or 57% of the respondents are female, 130 or 40.8% are male, and 7 or 2.2% are others. Therefore, most of our respondents are female. Slide please. Table 3F shows the income of the respondents. It was shown that the number of respondents with income below 1,000 contributed the highest percentage of 30.4. A least percentage of 6.3 was contributed by the respondents whose income ranged 20,001 and above. Table 3G portrays the distribution of the respondents according to civil status. The result shows that 242 or 75.9% of the respondents are single, 61 or 19.1% of the respondents are married, and 16 or 5% of the respondents are widowed. It shows that the majority of the respondents are single. At this moment, may I call on Ms. Jamilica Salvador to present the authenticity and sustainability.
This are the s- this is the statement of the problem, the third statement of the problem, to identify the preserved demand of the tourists and the local food in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental, in terms of authenticity and sustainability, as assessed by the local tourist, city tourism office, and owners or people involved in tourism. Tourists show interest in exploring a destination through food and beverage experiences as they come into contact with cultural historical features when experience local gastronomy. Anton and others in 2019, Ciotoglo in 2020, Juan in 2013 observed that travelers who highly rate local cuisine also perceive the destination with attractive and express overall satisfaction with their travel. As one of the components of destination, unique destination food images which are evaluated by the tourist attitude and perception towards food, local food, CEO and others in 2017. These are the table 4A, shows the authenticity that reflects the opinion of the respondents regarding the availability of authentic food option in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental. The majority of the respondents answered the availability of local food options with a frequency of 295 and a percentage of 92.5, while the least number of respondents specifically indicated the unique cooking method of local food with a frequency of 277 and a percentage of 86.8. Table 4B shows the sustainability. Most of the respondents believe that San Carlos City Negros Occidental has environmentally friendly production method. The environmentally friendly production method is indicated by the majority of respondents with a frequency of 298 and a percentage of 93.4, while the least number of respondents with a frequency of 267 and a percentage of 83.7. And for the chapter 5, Mr. Araneta will elaborate the summary of findings.
Summary of findings, Chapter 5. The primary objective of this study were to determine the satisfaction of tourists towards food tourism in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental. On food quality, place, and services, when grouped according to the age, sex, income, and civil status, according to the data gathered, it states that the place has the highest
So on behalf of Mr. Araneta, allow me to present to you the summary of findings. So the primary objectives of this study were to determine the satisfaction of tourists towards food tourism in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental, on food quality, place, and services when grouped according to age, sex, income, and civil status, According to the data gathered, it states that place has the highest level of satisfaction and services has the least level of satisfaction. Additionally, the finding shows that in terms of factors influencing the culinary experience of tourists, accessibility has the highest influence while promotion has the least influence. Furthermore, when it comes to tourist perception, Furthermore, when it comes to tourist perceptions of the local food in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental, authenticity has the highest demand, while sustainability has the lowest demand. Conclusion. Overall, tourist satisfaction towards food tourism in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental, is influenced by the place with the highest level of satisfaction. However, services in food tourism have the least level of satisfaction. San Carlos City, Negros Occidental excels in providing a satisfying notable shortcomings in the service aspect of food tourism. Therefore, the city must prioritize improvements in service quality and staff training to elevate tourist satisfaction levels. And now I will now pass the floor to Ms. Bahinting for the recommendation.
Based on the findings, the followings are the recommendation of the study. Local Government Unit or LGU of the San Carlos City, it is recommended that the LGU, specifically the City Tourism Office, use the findings to improve the tourism development plan, particularly in the area of food tourism. It is useful to enhance the quality of culinary experiences in the city and increase tourist satisfaction levels by offering high quality services, develop more promotional strategies, and sustainable practices. For the owners or peoples involved in food tourism, it can give insights to owners or peoples involved in food tourism by aligning their offerings with tourist preferences and perceived demand. It can help them identify areas for improvement in terms of services, promotion, and sustainability. Also, to enhance the quality of culinary offerings, fostering sustainable practices, and develop effective marketing strategies for their unique culinary identity. For the future researchers, it is suggested that future researchers conduct further studies on food tourism or explore topics related to tourist perception and satisfaction towards culinary experiences, such as the role of local cuisines in shaping the overall tourist experience, factors influencing the success of food tourism, tourist behavior and preferences, and in-depth quantitative studies on the aspects not covered in this paper. At this moment, Ms. Harabi will present the references.
Here are the references cited.
And that concludes our presentation. Our dear panelists, we are now open on comments, questions, and suggestions.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Anna. Um, Let us start with Doc Mibato.
Okay, so very well presented. And in advance, congratulations. So let's see if you can answer my query. The purpose why we're here is for you or for us to help you improve your work.